What's good, everybody? We got a special edition today. Not today, this morning. It's 12:05 a.m. as I start to record this. Bear with me. I don't know what I'm going to say. Might be delirious. Might say some wild stuff. If it happens, it happens. We had two games today, two first round game threes. First game being Indiana versus Atlanta in Atlanta, where the Dream ended up losing by 2 at home, not being able to get the inbounds pass in correctly, I would say. Uh, so Atlanta, I don't want to be one of those people that be like, oh, it's a failure of a season, but to win 30 games in the season, have home court advantage, win game one, you go to game two, you get blown out on the road, and then you come back for game three, where you should have the advantage, not only because you're on your home court, but also because arguably their best player, Caitlin Clark, is not there. Sophie Cunningham, one of their top defenders and top three-point shooters, is not there. Aaron McDonald is not there, who became one of their backup point guards and then was starting when Caitlin got hurt. And then Sydney Colson also, who was their backup point guard, um, are all out for the season. So that alone is like, all right, Atlanta, take care of business, get to the next round. People were penciling them in against Vegas. And I will say, I did pick them to win this series, but you can go back and listen to the podcast with me and Bryce on Hoodie and the Headband. And even my boy Dre that was in the chat with us. And I was like, look, the Dream, as good as they are very capable of losing this series. And that's exactly what they did. And they were up 5 with like a minute left and just bad possessions down the stretch on offense. Shocker. And then, couldn't make the proper plays on defense. Obviously, the one play that Ossie Sims threw to Aaliyah Boston for the layup to take the lead is like if you get the ball, they get the ball. You never know what happens kind of play. Kind of just like a broken play that ended up getting a layup for them. But if you don't put yourself in that position, it don't matter. So Alicia Gray, she had 19 points. She was 9 of 15, 12 rebounds. She had five fouls. Almost the entire starting lineup had at least 4 fouls. The only one that didn't was Ryan. Ryan had 16 points. She was 7 of 18 from the field. Jordan Canada had a great game. She had 18 points, 10 assists, 8 of 14. Bree Jones was 12, 7 and 4, 5 from the field, and just battling with Aaliyah Boston the entire game. And then for Indiana, Kessie Mitchell was probably the best player on the floor the whole game. She had 24 points. She was 7 to 16. Odyssey Sims had 16 and 8. Aaliyah Boston had 14, 12, and 6. And then Natasha Howard had 12 herself. And Lexi Hull had the big layup to get it within 1 before Aaliyah Boston got the layup. So definitely want to give a shout out to the Fever first. The Fever deserve a lot of credit for being able to take advantage and to not look at themselves as like, dang, we don't have all these different players that are in street clothes on the bench. We're missing these many players. Like, no, every player that has been available and has been called to step up has stepped up. Shea Petty had a great game tonight. Brianna Turner had a great game tonight and the last game. Michaela Timpson only played 4 minutes, but she had 2 points and 5 rebounds in those 4 minutes. Ariel Powers gave them great minutes as well. So when you're able to rely on people and you're able to trust people to come in and give you something, it's huge. And they stuck to what they knew they needed to do. They stuck with it up until the last couple of minutes, and they felt more comfortable, and more confident in themselves, and in their ability to find something to work late game than the Dream did. The Dream had the ball with, I don't even remember how many seconds were left, but it had to be around like 10 to 12, I want to say. They get the ball in, or they try to get the ball in. The first time they don't even get the ball in, they have to call a timeout. They come back and run the same play basically. And they're trying to get the ball into Bree Jones, which is clear. Even the Fever coaches said they're probably going to try to throw it into the post. So that means, okay, we're going to look for that. Then once Bree Jones is like this, and they're trying to throw it into her to make the play. Like, first of all, Ron shouldn't have been taking the ball out because she's your biggest threat. Why would you have her taking the ball out? I know people want to like, oh, you pass it to somebody and they pass it right back. But no one's going to leave Ron on that. So you should have had her. You should have had Bree Jones or BG making that pass, because then Brianna Turner standing there doesn't deter the passer at all. But that's neither here nor there. They couldn't get the pass in the first time. The second time they get the pass in, Lexi Hall gets the steal. And then half of the team don't even run after the ball. Like Aaliyah Boston grabs it and then she just lets it go because she thinks the game is over because there's like 3 seconds left. She was assuming that it was about to be like 1 second left, I guess. So like someone runs, chases down, gets a foul. Then they come down again. They miss the first free throw. They make the second. They have another chance. Ryan is taking the ball out again, and the ball ends up in Brianna Jones' hands, and she has to shoot a prayer of a three over Aaliyah Boston. It's just like, of course, that's the way the dream season ended. Of course, that's the way the dream season ended. Um, Nia Coffey played no minutes today. Brittany Griner played 8 minutes, had 5 points. Maya Caldwell played 5 minutes. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough did not touch the floor. Those were their big acquisitions in terms of free agents. Like Nia Coffey was already there, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough was already there, but Maya Caldwell was already there. But they paid them a good chunk of money, including Brittany Griner, to come in, and they played a total of 8 minutes. Well, yeah. No, well, including Maya Caldwell, they played a total of 13. But it's like I don't know what's wrong with the dream. I don't know what you change because you can't say it's the coaching because I said that for years. Maybe it is the coaching still. I don't know. I don't think it's the coaching. He helped them get to 30 wins. They had a great season. Their offense was good. It's just the last 2 to 3 minutes every time. It's been like that for years. And I'm not going to say it's Alicia or it's Ryan or whatever, but you got to figure out something. It's like they're not sure who they want to go to late game. They're not sure of who is the better player. They're not sure whose team it is. They're so close and they're such a cohesive unit that it's hard to be like, it's hard to be like, all right, I'm the guy. I'm the top player on this team when you're as close to that person as you are. But maybe it's easier. Maybe it should be easier for you to do that. Similar to like a D-Wade LeBron. Like D-Wade was able to go to LeBron and be like, hey, look, it's your team, whatever. And things took off from there. Maybe somebody has to do that, but these are two young players. Like Alicia Gray's still pretty young. Like obviously Ryan came in a little bit later than her, but Alicia's not that much older than Ryan is. So if I'm Alicia, I'm looking the same way. Like, nah, this might be my team. Like, but at late games, the ball normally ends up in Ryan's hands, which I feel like if that's how it's going to be, then that should be how it's going to be all the time. And I'm not saying you can't go to Alicia. Like, obviously, if something happens and Ryan needs to swing it or whatever, something happens. But they just need to know who it's going to be at the end of the game. And it's been like that for years. So I really don't know what the change is. I'm just tired of seeing it personally. Speaking of tired of seeing it, the Seattle Storm, bro. And granted, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, look, they were really close. They only lost by one. They low-key should have lost by a lot more tonight. Like, and props to them for the game two comeback and making the plays they needed to make. But just, they played 7 players tonight. Erica Wheeler went 6 of 16, had 16 points, 5 assists. That's the player that they were going to late game, basically. When you have Skylar Diggins and Nneka Agwumake on your team. I'm noticing, by the way. Skylar was 4 of 13. Brittany Sykes was great in the fourth quarter. She was 4 or 5 from the field. And just never really got the ball back, even though she had scored multiple possessions in a row and said, give me the fucking ball. Did not get the ball back. Gabby Williams went 3 of 7, 7.6 rebounds. Ezzy Magmagor went 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Dominique Malone got 3 points, 5 rebounds, 3 fouls. Some of the things that I don't understand about the Storm is one, their offense. Their offense is disgusting. With the amount of talent that you have, the fact that it just looks so difficult. It looks like they're working so hard to get somebody open, to get an open shot. Like they're not trying to find mismatches. They're not trying to, make the defense work. Like they threw so many bad entry passes, and I'm not just talking about like bad, like in terms of skill. I'm talking in terms of decision making. Like they're fronting Nneka because they have a smaller player on her. That means they have someone on the back end ready to come and hit the ball or ready to come and stand front once she turns. and they just kept throwing the ball up. Like there was not going to be anything there. And it just didn't make sense to me. Defensively, they just kept letting Asia play one-on-one with Ezzy and Dominique Malonga. On one point on the side, NECA was on the strong side with Asia one-on-one with Ezzy, or maybe it was Dominique at this point. This is like last 2 minutes. And instead of digging all the way down and going to get the ball, because you got Kirsten Bell in the corner, make Kirsten Bell make that shot. I don't mean no disrespect, but make her make that shot. You're going to give Asia Wilson another layup when she's got 34 already. It just doesn't make sense. And they never changed anything defensively. You cannot keep running the same. You just can't allow Asia Wilson to play one-on-one basketball over and over again. And then when they weren't playing one-on-one basketball, they were putting you in a pick and roll and you couldn't figure it out. Like, either switch it, don't switch it, have someone help. Like, at a certain point, I'm making somebody else make a shot. Kirsten Bell went 0 for 3 and Alyssa Smith was 1 for 3. If you're going to put them out there and they're in the corner, I'm making them make the shot. It's not difficult. It's not like Cheyenne Parker Tice came out. She was not good. Like, she's just not she's not able to move the way that she is normally capable of. You have to take advantage of that if she's on the court. Jewel Lloyd was 2 of 4 in 29 minutes. Make her make a shot. I know it's Jewel Lloyd, but at this point, you're giving up wide open twos, essentially. Asia Wilson had 38 points on 14 of 26. Jackie Young was 14 on 6 of 12. And then Chelsea Gray had 12 on 5 of 8 shooting. They literally beat y'all with 3 players. They beat y'all with 3 players and really won. I'll give Jackie Young like a ton of credit because if she doesn't get that rebound, they may not win this game. But it came down to them just not sending a double or not sending help playing against Asia. And I'm not one to say that somebody needs to be fired, but something has to change, bro. This Seattle Storm team has been mediocre, average, losing in the first round for years. There's too much talent. There's no way you have multiple All-Stars on your team. You have 4 All-Stars on your team. You have a number 2 pick from this past draft. You have Ezzy Mabagor, who is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate almost every year. And you lose in the first round. And I'm not saying that they should have just smoked the Aces, but you lost by 1, so the opportunity was there. You just made so many mental mistakes throughout the game that you couldn't even keep up. Like, you have to work so hard just to keep up that when you finally get to that chance, you're like, oh, we could take the lead here. We could take the lead here. Okay, now you got to keep the lead. They were never able to go on any kind of run. They were just able to stick around. And even when the Aces weren't playing well, at one point, the Aces had 7 turnovers and Seattle had 6. And it's like, they're playing terrible and y'all are only down 2, or y'all are still down 2. Like, but then there's also like NECA only had 3 points, but they were only down 4. So it's like both teams didn't really play well at all. But when it comes to Seattle, like, this is your opportunity. See, Indiana was the next team to play. And again, this is not to disrespect Indiana, but they're missing potentially, arguably, their best player. They're missing their best player. You have all of this talent. There's no way you're losing a game like that, late game, because you can't execute. Why? Why are you running a pick and roll with a game on the line? You got Jackie as the initial defender, the initial point of attack defender, and then you're running the pick and roll with Asia Wilson. You want Asia Wilson defending you at the end of the game, and then Dominique was open, but Skylar didn't see it because Asia's so damn tall and was towering over her. And then they just, like I sent a text before the play. I was like, knowing Seattle, they might not even get a shot off. Technically, they did, but then they got it back and didn't get a shot off. And then for some reason, it went stupid dark in the arena. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Both of these teams that lost today. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Seattle should have beat Vegas, but when you lose like that, it's bad. And the way that your season ended, you shouldn't even have been in this position. So, yeah, actually, you should have won this series. I'm actually not gonna take that back. They should have won this series because when you start the season the way you did, and then you end the season, they are 23-20. They ended the regular season 23-21. They won like 6 games from like the mid July to the beginning of September. Are you serious? Like that's and 6 might be a little hyperbolic, but like damn, like they went on a 7 or 8 game losing streak at one point. Like there's no way you have that much talent that you have had the same coach for years and y'all just can't figure it out. Y'all can't figure it out. Something has to change. And I'm not one to call for people getting fired, but something got to change. Something has to change. There's way too much talent on this team to keep getting put out in the first round. Like I said, same thing about the Dream, but they have a different coach. So it's going to come down to players for the Dream. But as far as the Storm, it's going to have to be the coach. Or you just got to break it up. You got to do something, man. And me personally, I'm tired of watching. Like the offense is nasty. I'm sorry, the offense is nasty. There's too much talent for that offense to look like that, and it's looked like that for years. Everything looks difficult. Everything looks difficult, and this is why I like watching teams like the Lynx and the Valkyries play because the Valkyries don't have near the amount of talent on paper that the Storm do, but are able to play a much better brand of offense and are able to score at a much better, more efficient rate. How does that even make sense? Because they're playing basketball in a very smart brand, in a smart way. And you would think having a Skylar Diggins on your team, one of the greatest point guards to ever play in the WNBA, will help you. But they don't even use her like she's a point guard, really. She'd be off ball. Like Brittany Sykes only played 23 minutes tonight. What yo the last game of the regular season, Erica Wheeler Sage. Game 2, Erica Wheeler Sage. And y'all was relying again on Erica Wheeler to save you when you have Skylar Diggins and Neko Lumike on your team. That's all I need to say, bro. I ain't got to say much more, bro. Because it's 12:22 at this point. I need to go to bed. But it's ridiculous, bro. It's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. I'm sorry. That's bad. That's really bad. Like, man, yeah. Shout out Dre because I know he probably sick right now. But man, nah, bro. Like something got to change. I can't. If Seattle runs it back with this same roster, I can't say I won't watch them because there's not enough teams for me to be like, yeah, I'm not watching the Storm. But don't expect me to talk super optimistically about them next year because I had them as one of the top contenders halfway through the season because of the way they were playing, and they just nosedive all the way down. End up as a 7 seed and had a chance. All right, y'all.